Hello, everybody. I'm Jared Barton on behalf of the President's Athletic Conference and the PAC Sports Network. After another great season on the pitch, it's time to hand out some postseason accolades. Today, we unveil the 2024 women's and men's PAC soccer all-conference teams, as well as our newcomers of the year, offensive and defensive players of the year, and our coaches of the year. Let's first begin with the PAC women's all-conference honorable mention team. Forward Jada Benjamin, Bethany. Forward Sage Musser, Geneva. Forward Britta Lagerquist, Grove City. Forward Tori Stevenson, Grove City. Forward Emma Kohler, St. Vincent. Forward Amanda Pepe, Waynesburg. Forward Jocelyn Gratchik, Westminster. Forward Ali Augustine, Westminster. Midfielder Avelina Aurelio, Bethany. Midfielder Hallie Marsalis, Chatham. Midfielder Elise Winogradov, Franciscan. Midfielder Emma Malaberti, Westminster. Defender Emma Milligan, Allegheny. Defender Sarah Vesio, Chatham. Defender Tegan Elmore, Franciscan. Defender Addie Tallman, Geneva. Defender Alexis Arlaus, St. Vincent. Defender Courtney Actis, W&J. Goalkeeper Hope Fair, Bethany. Goalkeeper Courtney Listman, Grove City. And goalkeeper Ryland Warner, St. Vincent. Time to move on to our PAC Women's Soccer second team all-conference selections. Forward Monica Bird, Bethany. Forward Natalie Merrick, Grove City. Forward Imogen DeBlois, Teal. Midfielder Madeline Schneider, Allegheny. Midfielder Ainsley Smith, Chatham. Midfielder Jude Galvin, St. Vincent. Defender Ava Lee, Bethany. Defender Carly Keller, Grove City. Defender Hannah Costa, Grove City. Defender Abby Googie, Waynesburg. And goalkeeper Alexis Greenleaf, Waynesburg. Now let's take a look at the PAC All-Conference Women's First Team. Forward Emma Miller, Allegheny. Forward Eva Dexter, Franciscan. Forward Jules Moorbacher, Waynesburg. Midfielder Catherine Sertikowski, Allegheny. Midfielder Emma Herman, Grove City. Midfielder Tanisha Greenwald, St. Vincent. Midfielder Brooke Horvath, Westminster. Defender Waverly Lorne, Waynesburg. Defender Gabby Hunter, Westminster. Defender Lydia Ohm, Westminster. And goalkeeper Morgan Murphy of Westminster. Time to announce our individual award winners for PAC Women's Soccer this season. Newcomer of the Year, Eva Dexter of Franciscan. Defensive Player of the Year, Morgan Murphy, Westminster. Now push in front. Oh, and a big save.
Amazing save.
Either way, Grove City gets the shot on net. Stevenson taken away again. Morgan Murphy. Offensive Player of the Year, Emma Miller, Allegheny.
Good counter, Schneider to Miller, Miller to shot, Miller to goal, Emma Miller puts the Gators up 1-0.
And our PAC Women's Soccer Coach of the Year, Girish Thakar of Westminster. Now it's time to send it over to the PAC Sports Network's Jack Ridenauer, who sat down with our Coach of the Year, Girish Thakar from the Westminster Titans. Jack?
Thanks, Jared. We're now joined by the PAC Women's Soccer Coach of the Year from the Westminster Titans, Girish Thakar. Coach, first off, congratulations on the award. What does this mean to you, but also the whole program, having this award given to you?
Well, you'll get this award not just because of you, but because the people that surround you. Obviously, the team doing well, having good assistant coaches, and then coaches in the PAC voting for me. All these things have to come together to get this award. So I'm, honored for that.
Well, diving into this season, I know that your team reached another title match and fell short, but you guys kind of had an interesting season in a whole, kind of a tale of two seasons all in one. Rocky start, but then you started to pick up steam midway through the year. How much do you feel that tough non-conference schedule helped your team out in the long run in a deep run in the playoffs?
Well, we knew going into the season that we're going to have a really rough start in terms of the teams we're playing against. We ended up, I think, playing 5 teams that were in the top 8 in our region. And a lot of those teams were nationally ranked teams, including Carnegie Mellon. They were second in the country right now. So we knew it was going to be tough. And but we also knew that if we can get through those, with not necessarily wins, but definitely confidence, that we can play against those kind of teams. It would help us for this conference. And you could tell that as soon as we start playing conference games, it was a different kind of speed, things started changing a little bit, and the girls really grew with confidence knowing that they can play against anyone.
And it's great that you kind of had that mindset going into it saying, hey, it might be a tough start, but everything's going to fall into place. And it did exactly that. But I want to get a little bit more into your background, because for those that don't know, you're the head men's and women's soccer coach at Westminster. You were the men's coach first, and then you came on to the coaching staff for the women's in 2002. How did you get involved with the women's program?
Actually, it was just a fluke, really. I was at home sometime middle of August, just before preseason starting, and my athletic director at that time, Jim Daffler, calls me and says, "Hey, we have a problem. Our women's coach is not returning. It's only a week before preseason. Is there any way you can jump in and help us out for the season? And then we'll find someone at the end of the season. Put a national search for that." And I made a couple of changes to the schedule so I can be at both games and practices. And we ended up being very successful that year. That year, we won the conference title, both men's and women's that year. Went to the NCAA tournament. And then, they said, "Hey, why don't you want to, continue this?" And at the time, I was coaching men's soccer and track and field. And so the track and field was tough because it was all year round, and it didn't give me much time to recruit for the men's team. Every weekend there were meets going on, and I had to always be there. So this kind of gave me a little bit of freedom off season in terms of being able to recruit and going out to tournaments, things like that. So and then they just offered me the job, and I took it, and it's been like 22 years now.
Well, that's definitely a good sign. They've asked you back 22 times to continue to coach both teams. But I'm curious, just what is that like going from men's soccer to women's soccer? And like you mentioned, balancing out the schedules, making sure practice times don't run into one another. I mean, what is it like coaching those two teams simultaneously? I'm sure for a very busy fall for you.
Yeah, actually it's tough. It's tough. I think I'm the only coach now left in our region of like 80 schools that I think has someone coaching both teams. It's you have to be very organized. It doesn't seem like it's as organized, but in the background, there's a lot of organization involved in terms of scheduling and practicing and having enough time for both teams. Recruiting both for both teams it's a lot of work. Sometimes you just get into it and that's it. You just kind of keep doing what you do. And you don't really think about it too much. But probably the hardest part of the coaching both teams is just the times between games. We play a lot of back-to-back games. You kind of play one game and then you have like 20 minutes to get kind of adjusted, mentally focused for the second game. And those kind of things really make a big difference. You have to have experience to do it. It's not easy.
Well, you make it look very easy, especially with how much you've been winning over the years for sure, and winning with both programs. But I know you've also had a lot of help with some tremendous players. You had some great players this season, a lot all over the all-conference team, but a couple on the first team. In Brooke Horvath, you also had Gabby Hunter, Lydia Ohm, and Morgan Murphy. When you've got players like that, especially Horvath, Hunter, and Ohm, who are all seniors, and you obviously won't bring them back, next year, but what does it mean to the program having them on the field and having them in the program each of the last 4 seasons and having them also represent the team both on and off the field?
It's kind of interesting because they're all also different personalities, you'd find that maybe all 4 of them have got strong personalities and have this same attitude, but they're all kind of a little different and all bring something different to the program, which is really cool. Brooke, just very talented, very unusual person with a skillful ability to beat players one-on-one. That's very unusual to find someone at this level that can do that. But she's also just a sponge when it comes to soccer, watches soccer, watches every game, knows every player, what's going on in the field. So she brings that. Gabby has been just a true leader for us, since her freshman year. Just a quiet leader, but just brings it every game. Obviously Lydia's been a kind of unusual person because she hasn't started for the past 3 years. She's always been someone that's come off the bench for us, been like the 12th player, playing anywhere we asked her to play. And then this year she played left back where we needed someone, and just unbelievable season. 11 goals I think she's got, and just came out of the just boxes playing so well. And then obviously you go at the back, Morgan, who just, brings everything in terms of a goalkeeper, and she has the leadership and she has the confidence that allows us to go forward, knowing that we have a very good goalkeeper at the back. So everyone brings something to the plate, which is a little bit different, but that's what makes us the team that we are.
Well, you mentioned Morgan Murphy, obviously the goalkeeper of the year. How much, and you mentioned the confidence, but how much also reassurance does that give you, knowing that you've got her in between the pipes and somebody that is of that caliber in goal for you?
Yeah, you don't get many players like that. That's a once in a kind of a decade type player that comes in and just is amazing. Has had a amazing 3 years so far, and we got 1 more year left for her, so that's nice. We've got her coming back, but having a goalkeeper that's so confident, and we know that can make those big saves when we need to, when she needs to, and that's what we're looking for, and she really makes a big difference for us.
Well, Coach, again, just an incredible season all across the board for your group and for you individually. But before we get you out of here, moving forward out of this season and into next, how do you feel that your program can build on a season like this and continue that kind of trend of finding yourselves in the title game yet again next year?
Well, it's gonna be a challenge. We're losing 7 or 8 of our starters from the 11 from this year. So it's going to be a whole new team, whole new players coming in, potentially like different way of playing as you bring in new players. So, but as much as we would hate for our players that we have right now, they're leaving, they're graduating. We're happy for them. They're gonna get good degrees. They're gonna get full-time jobs, etc. We're excited for what's coming up because I think it's going to be a whole new team, a new way to work with players, and maybe potentially changing the way we play a little bit. That's always exciting as well. So we are moving on. We know that it's going to be tough to replace the players we have. It's not going to be easy. This group has been, I think 4 out of the last 6 years have been the regular season champions. So it's going to be tough to replace that kind of talent. But we're hoping that we have players that can come in that want to play at this level, and we could be back next year doing the same thing.
Well, Coach, again, thanks so much for stopping by. And again, congratulations on a tremendous season and good luck moving into the offseason and moving into next year as well.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
That's the PAC Women's Soccer Coach of the Year, Girish Thakar from the Westminster Titans. Jared, back to you.
Halfway home as we switch gears now, it's time for the PAC Men's Soccer Honorable Mention Team. Forward Gabe Singh, Geneva. Forward Jonathan Schreiner, Franciscan. Forward Mitchell Strauss, Teal. Forward Connor Schmidt, Westminster. Midfielder Augustine Rubino, Franciscan. Midfielder John Luke Harbor, Grove City. Midfielder Cameron Mulvaney, St. Vincent. Defender Aiden Daiga, Allegheny. Defender Anthony Quitiche, Chatham. Defender Jake Kimmick, Grove City. Defender Jack Billick, St. Vincent. Defender Derek Errett, W&J. Defender Mason Lewis, Waynesburg. Goalkeeper Mateo Pintas, Bethany. Goalkeeper Maxwell Control, Chatham. And goalkeeper Hayden Catalan from Geneva. Time now for our All-PAC Men's Soccer second team selections. Forward Julian Freeman, Franciscan. Forward Carnell Kerr, Geneva. Forward Seth Masadi, Waynesburg. Midfielder Albi Jaffa, Chatham. Midfielder Noah Gray, Grove City. Midfielder Sarpong Kwabia, Waynesburg. Defender Santiago Bruni, Bethany. Defender Colin Sullivan, Chatham. Defender Zachary Muldoon, Franciscan. Defender Dominic Sambuco, Geneva. And goalkeeper Aiden Miller of Franciscan. Time now to take a look at our first team All-PAC men's soccer selections. Forward Brady Napoleon, Allegheny. Forward Xavier Coppin, Chatham. Forward Lucas Cross, Franciscan. Midfielder Will Bruca, Allegheny. Midfielder Ryan Miller, Franciscan. Midfielder Will Dunda, Geneva. Midfielder Aiden Eck, Grove City. Defender Joseph St. George, Franciscan. Defender Darren Main, Geneva. Defender Camden Thomas, Grove City. And goalkeeper Tenny Allmeter, Grove City. Time to announce our men's individual award winners for the 2024 season. Newcomer of the Year, midfielder Sarpong Kwabia, Waynesburg. Defensive Player of the Year, Ryan Miller, Franciscan. Offensive Player of the Year, Brady Napoleon of Allegheny.
Steps up. And he finished it. And there you have the single goal record in Allegheny soccer history.
And the men's coach of the year, Brent Ridenauer of Franciscan. Now it's time to send it over to the PAC Sports Network's Jack Ridenauer, who sat down with our coach of the year, Brent Ridenauer, who I promise is not related. Jack?
Jared, thank you, my friend. We are now joined by the PAC Men's Soccer Coach of the Year from the Franciscan Barons, Coach Brent Ridenauer. Coach, first off, congrats on the award and an amazing season. Happy to have a fellow Ridenauer join the program as well, but I want to obviously dive into the here and now a little bit. I know that your team reached third title game in the last 4 seasons. You guys win the championship this year. You're the coach of the year. I mean, with all of the success around the team, around the program, how much excitement is there at Franciscan for men's soccer right now?
There's a lot of excitement, to be able to host the championship game, and the last 2 times we were able to make the championship game, we were able to host it also, and the crowd support, the fans that we get at our home games. The championship game was packed. There's a lot of excitement here, and well deserved, because these guys have put in the time, put in the effort, have worked really hard. Our seniors have been at this for many years, and for them to get that support here on campus is tremendous.
Well, going into Saturday's game, I know it was a crazy game, tightly contested battle. Your team obviously prevailing in the end against Grove City, but where do you feel and what do you feel was the biggest turning point in that game that really swung the momentum your way?
Well, it was a back and forth game in the first half. Both teams had multiple good chances in the first half. And we always tell our players, let's just try to go out and win the first half. And it looked at, late in the half that it was going to be a 0-0 draw at halftime. And then we had a great offensive attack, a cross in front of the goal. Julian Freeman was able to put it in off a cross from Joe St. George, put us up 1-0. So in my opinion, that was huge to be able to go into halftime with a little momentum. Because again, we could have been down at halftime very easily because Grove City had some really good attacks the first half. So going into halftime, knowing we were up 1 was really great for us, because that's a huge objective of ours, is to try to take the lead by halftime. And then in the second half, Grove City came out and made some changes to their style of play, their formation, which doesn't happen a lot. It does happen sometimes, but it's rare that a team, especially only down 1 at half, comes out and makes those changes. But they're well coached. They had no problem making those changes and came right back. And fortunately for us, we were able to get a second goal before maybe their changes could kind of take into effect. So the next thing you know, they've changed, but they're also now down by 2. And at that point, we kind of got back on our heels a little bit, mainly because of the changes that Grove City made. So then we had to counter that with our own changes to try to just hang in there, I guess, so to speak. Even though we're still trying to score another goal, they came right back and got another one, and then it was just a battle the rest of the way.
Well, how much did this win mean to this year's team with how last year ended? You guys coming up short of the championship, losing in the semifinals to Grove City. You come back this year, you beat Grove City in the championship. I'm sure that made things a little bit sweeter for you, but how much did the win mean knowing that your team got revenge and they accomplished that feat as well?
Yeah, well, it's not only a little bit of revenge to maybe the last season's tournament. Going into this season, this senior class had never defeated Grove City. It was the only PAC team that they had not defeated. And, the Grove City kind of had our number and these guys' number. So going into our regular season game against Grove City, our guys were super fired up and pumped up and ready to go. And we're really trying to knock off Grove City. So then to get them again in the tournament, in the championship game, after knowing that they had defeated us and knocked us out and kind of had our number, is very rewarding for these guys, especially our seniors who have been doing this for 4 years. And last season was the first season and only season they never made the championship game. So very upsetting to them last season to. I think they kind of felt like, hey, we deserve to be in the championship every season. And they knew that, hey, we didn't put the work in last season. We're going to have to put the work in this year to try to get back to that championship game.
And I know that you had a lot of successful players on your team all throughout the last 4 years, but in particular this season, and really highlighted by the Defensive Player of the Year in Ryan Miller. How much reassurance has it given you knowing you've got a player like Ryan back there and that is so strong defensively?
Yeah, so defense has been our mantra this season. If you've heard any of my other interviews or commentary, team defense, shutouts, that's where we have really focused this season on. We had no problem scoring goals in 2023, but we didn't reach our goals because we gave up too many goals. And this year, preseason, off season, our focus was strictly on defending. We were not going to talk or work on offense very much. Ryan has taken that to heart, has led our backs, our defensive midfielders. He's led that group. In fact, in the championship game on Saturday, we moved him from a midfield position into a center back position because we knew how strong Grove City was in the attack. And it worked out for us. So I'm super proud of Ryan and his efforts, and I feel like he's deserving of the Defensive Player of the Year.
And you mentioned the offensive ability of your team a year ago, highlighted by last year's Offensive Player of the Year and Lucas Cross. What does it kind of allow for you when you've got a player of Cross's caliber offensively? What does it allow for you to do offensively that maybe other teams might not be able to accomplish?
That's a great question. I get asked about our offensive style of play a lot. And honestly, we kind of just let our guys do what they do. We really don't have a set offensive system. We kind of take what the opponent is giving us, and we give our guys in the attack the freedom to kind of be who they are. And who Lucas is Lucas is a dribbler. Lucas is a guy who uses his speed, can maneuver around 2 or 3 players at once, can pass guys with his speed, and we let him do that. We give him the ball. We don't tell him, hey, you have to play 2-touch soccer, you have to play 3-touch soccer, you have to get it and move it. We let him do what he does. And I think it's the same for the other guys. Some guys are more of a setup guy. They're more of a passer. So we say, hey, do what you do. Fortunately for us, that's worked.
Well, I want to kind of circle back to you and your coaching, because since you've taken over the program at Franciscan, it's been nothing but winning. And obviously, like we continue to reiterate, making it to the championship year in and year out, just about. What belief or teaching have you implemented into the program that you feel has really allowed for this amount of success to occur in really a short amount of time?
Well, I think it starts with discipline. I think it starts with bringing these guys together, making sure they know that you can't just say you want to be a champion. You got to actually have to work at it. And I've tried to instill that from the first day I got here, was that here are the things and the steps and the ingredients to success. If we do these things and we do them together, we're going to have success. We can't just say at the start of each season, hey, we want to be PAC champions. Like, we have to work at it, and we all have to be on the same page. And what we tell our guys is that we have to be on the same bus, and we all have to be going in the same direction. So from the first day I got here, it's all been about, let's get the right guys on the bus, and we're all going to go in the same direction. And if we have guys that don't want to be on the bus or want to go in a different direction, then we're not going to be successful. So for us, it's always been about, we have to buy into the brotherhood. We have to work hard for this. We all have to want the same thing. We all have to agree that this is how we're going to do things. And it's okay to disagree, but when it comes time for game time, we all have to know this is our plan. This is what we're going to do. Great example of that's the championship game. You know, we have a style of play. We have a way that we're going to try to attack and defend Grove City. And then all of a sudden we come back from halftime and Grove City has changed everything that they're going to try to do against us. So while we're in the run of play, while the game's going on, here we are trying to make these changes. And the guys can't be, oh, I don't think this is going to work. The guys have to be, hey, this is what we're going to do. Let's do it. Let's do it to the best of our ability. So I think that that's one of the reasons why we've had success here.
Well, it's been incredible to watch from afar and just to see the continued success year in and year out, every single season, culminating in double-digit wins, making it to the championship. It's really been impressive to watch. And before we let you run, Coach, I know that you still have a little bit more of your season left, moving into the NCAA tournament. How do you kind of keep the team focused, making sure everyone's staying on the bus and still driving to the tournament, and now kind of keep them hungry, even though they've accomplished that PAC championship feat?
Yeah. So fortunately for us, we were able to make the NCAA tournament 2 seasons ago. And most of our starting group and varsity players were on that team and have experienced what it's like to step on the field in an NCAA tournament environment. I think at that point, we were a little bit younger, a little bit less experienced. And I don't think that they were quite ready for what it's like to play in the NCAA tournament. These guys, I think, are ready. So I think they're excited. They're not just happy to be here anymore. Now I think we're going to go out and we're going to try to strive to win games in the NCAA tournament in advance. Fortunately for us, 2 things. One, we've had a great non-conference schedule. We've played some teams that are also playing the NCAA tournament already. So the guys know that the level of play that we had in non-conference has prepared us for the NCAA tournament. In addition, the PAC gets better every single season. And our guys know that. You know, when you're playing the teams in the PAC day in and day out, I know that we are still considered a one-bid conference. But I think that the PAC continues to impress, continues to get better, and playing the teams in the PAC, Grove City, Geneva, Allegheny, Chatham, you know, all the teams, you know, you know, Waynesburg tied us, and we've had some great battles. And you can tell from the PAC standings that it was a very, very tightly contested and competitive conference this season, with all, especially you look at all the ties in the conference. So, you know, some great teams, great programs in the PAC. We played a great non-conference schedule. Our guys are ready to go, excited to play in the tournament. You know, we can't wait to see who we play and where we go.
Well, it's been exciting to watch you guys all season long, and we're looking forward to seeing where you guys take off in the tournament. Coach, again, thanks so much for your time today, and congratulations on a very successful season and the Coach of the Year.
Thank you, Jack.
That's the PAC Men's Soccer Coach of the Year, Brent Ridenauer from Franciscan. Jared, back to you.
Thanks, Jack. Once again, a big congratulations to all of our all-conference participants. This was a well-deserved honor to end the 2024 fall sports season. Thank you for joining us on the President's Athletic Conference Women's and Men's Soccer All-Conference Selection Show. I'm Jared Barton, and as we say goodbye, here's one final look at our all-conference selections. We'll catch you next time right here on the PAC Sports Network.